Wasn't this cast earlier? Is this live? It's Zest versus herO for the second time today. It's the finals of the group to see which of these two players, and only one, can get through to the round of 8. Spawning here to the top left side of Abyssal Reef, we've got the pink Protoss, Zest.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is Root herO.
All right, let's touch base on a couple things for chat. First off, 47 is thank you for the 200 bits. Ace E, never forget. And maybe one day we'll bring it back if we unlock more emoticon slots. We are 79 subscriber points away. So tier 2, tier 3, you name it. If you guys are willing to sub, maybe we'll hit that goal. But as far as ads go, because this seems to be a touchy subject all the time, first and foremost, if you guys do watch ads on the channel, you have our gratitudes. Ads are what pay most of our bills. I've said it before, and I've said it in a tweet recently, and I'll say it again now. Every single month, our ad revenue is usually equal to or greater than the amount of money we make from subs every single month. So, a couple ads here and there, you watch them, it generates a penny or two at a time at most, but it helps us pay our bills. Secondly, we unfortunately, because we rely on this, cannot disable ads for subscribers. The only people who don't see ads are those who use Twitch Prime, and granted, you don't have to be subbed with Prime on our channel. If you don't know how Twitch Prime works, globally you won't get any ads on Twitch. But the benefit is the subscribers who are using Twitch Prime still provide an ad impression, and what that means is we still get counted as if you saw a commercial. Cool. So hopefully that clarifies things, and I'm sorry if there's anyone who is under the misunderstanding. We've never ever advertised or offered ad-free viewing, and if you've read that anywhere, it's incorrect. But anyways, it's PvP rematch, as we said before, and we saw this end up being pretty swiftly in the favor of Zest. A lot through Stalker play, a lot through aggression, and herO just kept getting beat back, and I was really surprised by that, frankly.
Yeah. herO, usually known for his aggressive, cheesy behavior, was getting aggressively cheesed and didn't have the defense, because it's not just that it's a surprise, it's not you who's doing it, it's also you're usually so practiced with it, you know what works against it, and yet he still was missing all the scouts, he was missing the micro. Zest was getting the edge every single time, and ended at 3-0.
I already love what he's doing. Minor moves like that, sitting in the brush, gives him the high ground advantage. Straight up PUBG strats, yo.
Yes. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Not since before BlizzCon. I haven't got to play the new desert map yet, but it looks so fun.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm now realizing one of the weird differences between the Stalkers, right? So, like, it's the same general design. They still have the same silly hat, but it's like these side bits point up more. And like, I hate to reference it because we're sponsored by Corsair, but it's like they're wearing those Astro headsets. You know what I mean? And they got little cat ears. Look at this.
Yes, the cat ears. That's what I thought you were going with that. No, you're right. That is a weird distinction between the units, the skins rather. And it doesn't look like it's shielded so much as they're just like as I said, like a hairpiece. So I don't enjoy it. Or like they're carrying a baby on their back. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm
having a hard time seeing the. I know what you're talking about, the hairstyle. I don't see it the same way you do. But the baby carriage on the back, actually, yeah, because you look at these stalkers, there's almost nothing on the back. They got no booty, but these stalkers thick AF.
Yeah. Well, the original Stalker always looked like it had a shield on one side, you know, like it was supposed to use that
one side was like longer than the other.
Yeah, and these new ones just, well, they look like Colossus tops. They're like muffin tops, but worse. Like Colossus tops.
They set the tiny little T-Rex arms. That's all I care about. Tiny little praying mantis claws. So they eat their food, guys.
Who designed this? Who was like, this looks cool, guys?
Not even like from Blizzard, but in the Protoss world, they're like, all right, we've got these big, powerful Zealots and Archons and all these other things. Let's give Stalkers tiny little arms. Oh, I bet you know what? It was a Zealot who designed this. They're like, look at these units. They think they're so cool being mobile with range. I'll show them. I'll design them with stupid, tiny little arms. Teach them who's got good arms.
The arms really are a mystery, because why do they even need arms? You know, I had the whole like hermit crab joke, I think, before, where hermit crabs have tiny, tiny little arms, and they just like transfer between their arms to their mouth.
Did you just ask why something needs arms?
Yeah, they don't eat. They don't use them. Yeah, that was my point.
Like, anything needs arms.
No, they do not need those arms. The small ones at the front.
Okay, maybe not hands, right? But arms. Like, you fall over forward, you gotta push yourself up with something.
That's not
No
what they
arms.
use those for. Don't lie to me. Some other things need arms, but they do not need arms. And they don't eat. That's the thing.
Zombie Grub, these are American stalkers. They have the right to bear arms.
They photosynthesize. Photosynthesis. I would look at their phones without arms. Oh, the stalkers used to look at their phones and
yeah, how are they gonna check Twitter? Like, you seriously, this is so, I don't know how you're not thinking about these basic things.
Okay, why don't the Immortals have arms or hands to use phones with, though?
They do, though. That's what the guns are. That's their arms, or the
guns.
guns.
How do they use that as arms to hold a phone, Rifkin? Just explain that process to me.
Okay, so in real life, there's like some people who are so fat, their arms don't really go in front of them like normal people's arms, but they can still hold phones, Zombie Grub.
Because they have things called fingers. And these Immortals don't have fingers. Their hands don't exist. Their arms...
Okay, look at those guns. You ever used chopsticks before? Hello?
What are arms besides things to put our hands on?
Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad you had a good vacation. Refreshed you up. Got you ready to go for the cast. You know what? I've got it. Here's the simplest reason. Without it beyond, because this is a battle zone. It's a war. It's a war-driven race. You know, the Aeon is strife and all that. If Protoss didn't have these, they'd have to shout to battle instead of to arms.
Good one.
I hate myself so much right now.
I'm so glad this is the macro game, by the way. It's like, if this...
Oh, no.
If this competition had happened in the last series, the series would be done by now.
No, I don't think it would have happened in the last... The thing is, it's cause and effect. Because they're not doing anything, we gotta find something to talk about. Oh, no. My whole argument with the Immortals go out the window with this skin. God damn it.
No, they're no longer chopsticks. They're just cannons. Oh my god. No, zoom back in. Zoom back in like they... Oh, no, they moved. They look like they have a dolphin head. It's like a dolphin coming out of the water. Make dolphin sounds. It's like its mouth is open, you know, and it's like it's making sounds. Exactly. That's what that looks like.
That was my best attempt at a dolphin sound. I don't think
it was good enough. It was good enough.
What are you doing? My best.
Why do they look like that? I think they're supposed to be like the eagle, like, you know, because they're kind of like Egyptian, right? They're supposed to be kind of like Ra. There we go, like Ra, but it looks like a dolphin.
All right. Well, I have no comment on that. I do like the original concept that had the more Egyptian style for the Immortals, but we've long since moved past that. Now, again, it has been a very passive game, and I was actually thinking with how passive this has been, maybe we'd start seeing air. At the end of the day, the ultimate composition for Protoss is still in the sky. But they've both gone for Charge Lot Archon, and they both have a lot of Charge Lots and Archons. There's one key difference, though, with upgrades, and that's Zest is going to have +3, but hero's going to have armor, which will help his non-Archon units, but not the Archons. So I kind of like what Zest has a bit better.
I think I do as well. If he was to hit right now, maybe he'd have a decent chance, but their compositions really are so similar that Defender's Advantage, whatever, you know, a shield battery, a probe pool, something like that, something really small would probably be enough to make up for any upgrade difference. But Zest might be looking for it anyways. A couple good force fields, maybe some better focus fire. You can make it work, it's just not a situation you look at and say, I definitely win this one.
Yeah, Stalker's managed to get something done on the other side of the field. Gonna kite around. Zelt's like stupid tiny little arm. Can't reach the zone. Since I'm going down, this weapon will take care of it.
If Stalkers had a melee attack like Hydra's?
They just had the two little tiny little... Like, even though they could probably rear their hind legs back and kick them in the face, instead using the tiny little claws.
It'd be the worst slap fest.
Oh, there's gotta be a way to make that happen.
That's
we gotta get a mod for that. Melee only.
Alright, these Stalkers did not do a ton of damage. You know, 4 bases, 7 probes is not a lot, but They brought the army back. I mean, Zest was thinking about it, didn't want to, pulled back, took care of it. All said and done. herO is finishing up his upgrades now. He's gonna have 3, 1, 1. There we go. With charge, and a Dark Shrine now on the way, but no one going to Stargate.
You ever seen that GIF of the Japanese show where like furniture is secretly chocolate and you gotta bite into it to figure out what it is? I feel like that's how stalkers probably live their lives because they can't use their hands for anything. Oh,
I thought you were gonna bring up the slippery Japanese show.
Well, this conversation has been a slippery slope, I'll tell you that much. Big warp in, though, coming in the main. herO is actually full out on supply. That's why he can't warp it defensively unless he brings his army back home. So that's a little bit awkward and a bit of a downside to being maxed out. But in doing so, leaves this 4th base exposed. herO comes in. He's got no problem taking us down. And Zest, well, he's still struggling to deal with these zealots. In fact, he might not even deal with... Okay, he finally cleans them up. But these ones, freshly warped in, are still going to be a problem. So base for base... And herO's got a really good position set up here.
He does. He's actually got Zest in a very difficult position. Now, Zest has a huge supply, or sorry, huge bank, and a huge supply. But he has a huge bank, so taking a bad trade once isn't the worst thing in the world, but he would have to maybe even double expand beyond that. As he's still taking damage, he'll dealing with this in the main base.
But this is my concern, right? You've got this awesome bank, cool, 1,900, 1,200 minerals, but none of that matters if you lose all your gateways to produce with.
Well, his charge lots run into a meat grinder, and meanwhile Zest Archons aren't doing anything.
But this should have been a bigger problem for herO. He doesn't have his own warp-ins. He was using them all in the main, but it was good enough. GG.
Oh, Zest had such an unideal engagement.
All right, folks, welcome back. With a very nice 1-0 at the start of the screen. The top left, we got the red Protoss herO.
In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is Zest.
All right, Zest, I'm not gonna at all count out. Called a bad game. It was super duper passive. Nobody got anything done, and it just turned into like that late game. I got a 1-up on you, and it's kind of hard to get back from that with the way Protoss warp-ins work. So I'm not super surprised. I will just comment though that if Zest had any amount of DTs, like 1, he would have cleaned up the main so much more easily. So there's the one thing kind of missing from that. No Dark Shrine. Could have maybe made that game less of a headache.
That's true. Warp and DTs, they do a lot of damage, and obviously they don't have to worry about being combated. And then he maybe would have been in place. Because the biggest problem was not necessarily that he had to warp in an equal amount of units, was that he also pulled his entire army back to do it. Like, that was just a huge... That was almost a rookie mistake. A Wookiee mistake.
A Wookiee mistake.
And he did it, and herO absolutely capitalized. He deserved to be given a better chance of that fight, and he absolutely was. But herO, Zest also messed it up.
I love the context of that, by the way. So for those who don't know, like, someone in chat was saying apparently Wook or something is like his real name or something to that extent for Zest. Yeah. I just love the idea that because Wardy did this too. Jonathan Ward becomes Wardy. Zest goes from Wook to Wookiee. That'd be like me going to a tournament and my pro gaming name is Grammy. It's just, I don't know who looks at that and says that sounds like a great idea.
I mean, I guess it's different because they probably grew up in their lives, right? Having people maybe use it as a pet name or something like that, you know? Like maybe for Wardy's family, that's been a joke for a while. And I think for Zest, people would call him Wookiee, you know, affectionately. So it's different. If your mom had been calling you Grammy since you were young, maybe you would use it. No, that'd be the last name I would want to use in public. Are you kidding me? Well, okay, Grammy's a pretty childish, lame name, so you got that going for you. But there's other cool names.
Very much.
Wait, no, I said Grammy, okay? Graham's a fine name.
Spotty here at the top right, we've got none other than Chernegi.
Yeah, mine doesn't go very well with anything. But obviously people use my name to say Jesse, so...
Jesse, that guy from Ting? By the way, you and I gotta cast this rematch of a show match. Tracy wants to show match Jesse since they didn't end up getting to fight in the sponsor tournament.
Maybe.
I just love that that logic of what we've been talking about applies there, because it's the Tracy versus Jesse.
I see. I get you. Hey, herO, Proxy
Hello.
Pylon. What's up?
Hay's for horses. And hey.
Nope. Nope, that was a nice snipe on a sentry. And no, it almost lived with that stalker.
If you actually got away with it, regenerating the shields on that would have been very huge for the follow-up attack. But herO's still piling the pressure on strong, and it's a role reversal. This is exactly what happened to herO, but Zest was the one doing it to him. herO comes in now with that stalker pressure. The purifiers, I guess, looking to be a bit stronger this time around.
That was another sentry. herO is on 2 bases. You know, not a complete 4-gate all in, but obviously his natural was later, and he's down a couple of probes. But killing a couple here makes it a little bit easier. Getting the stalker trade over here.
Ooh, I like that micro too. Attention to detail goes a long way. 5 probes, a lot of lost mining, and he wins the stalker fight. 2 more depths coming in for some more damage. So I guess that's the difference of warp-ins now. 2 more stalkers are warped in on one side, 2 more depths on the other. But while this goes on, herO's getting a little bit back down to his roots, so to speak. For root game, perhaps? He's going for a bit cheesy. It's going to be a Dark Shrine and Blink following this up. Now, Fear Dragon, be still your beating heart. It's not Blink Dark Templar, but it is Blink Dark Templar.
It is Blink and Dark Templar. Yeah, a little bit easy of a follow-up, hoping to get Zest perhaps distracted, or more, you know, obviously emphasis on Immortals if he thinks there's going to be a big gateway attack. And then DT's coming, he doesn't have an observer in place, or at all. But Zest didn't really panic. He does have a robo, so access to an observer, another observer is available. And the observer he has right now is just with a natural. So I don't know if hero's really going to get a lot done with this Dark Shrine.
So real quick, for the logic, you're better than that, dude. You've been around long enough. I love you. But come on. Secondly, when I'm talking about Jesse, for those who don't know, I'm talking about Jesse from Ting. I'm not calling Zombie Grub as some cutesy little nickname here. But yeah, the sponsored tournament VODs are up if you guys want to go watch it. There's some pretty wicked games. One of the worst things we got to see, though, was a Zerg army dying in the most horrific way possible to avoid raising carriers.
Fun.
Dude, George came in, he had the greatest idea. I actually love what he aimed for, right? He had Corruptors, he had a Nidus Swarm of Hydras in the main, he was maxed out on supply, but he kind of A-moved, and that kind of let the Void Rays win in a really big way.
Yeah, classic mistake. Oh, well, you know, herO has access to that Dark Shrine. Doesn't mean he has to invest everything into it. You know, if he doesn't think there's an opportunity, then don't use it. Dark Shrine could be useful at 10 minutes and 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, even
investing at 40 Ts and losing them is worse.
Well, even going back in that last game where we talked about Zest. Say Zest gets the warp-ins into hero's main with no detection, right? All it takes is 2 DTs to actually clean up a wave of Zealots. Way better than a wave of Zealots would clean up a wave of Zealots.
Wave of Zealots, wave of Zealots, wave of Zealots.
Yeah, I should say that 5 more times. Get out of my system.
Well, herO, he gets a Robotics Bay and a couple of DTs, but much more interested to see if the Disruptors will come out and play. Goes for the Sentry, gets it. Tries to go for a couple of probes as well. Distraction, mainly a distraction as the Warp Prism enters the main. Drops off the DT, singular.
Does Zest realize this, though? I don't believe there's any detection. No, there's the observer coming in now. So it's just a little bit late to the draw.
Yeah, he had to siege it. He had to unsiege it. There you go. So the next, that's kind of cute. Like, something is done here. We had the Adepts kill probes, and then the DT did get another couple, and this one lived. So there's always that presence. There's always that thought in the back of Zest's mind that you can't really leave. I can't really send an observer out. I need to get another one. But Zest is trying to get to a macro game. He wants to take a third base, plus 2 blinks on the way. But herO's beaten him to it by a long shot.
I really hate these name combinations that chat's doing, but I gotta be honest, what hasn't been suggested yet, a Zompire sounds pretty cool. Or like a guy who is a zombie being an umpire to a baseball game, so I take it back.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds that cool.
Nice call, Zompire! What are you doing out there? What game are you watching, ref?
Well, herO Disruptors, man. They seem like they could be pretty good. I feel like if they weren't going to change it and they are looking to change the Disruptor, that it would become the thing to do again. They're pretty powerful as is.
I like it too because it does take a degree of skill, and the other player, there's counterplay. You run the one weak unit into it to eat the shot. Now granted, there's not always counterplay, but there is sometimes counterplay.
I think apparently other people, you know, other community members have been complaining that it's actually a lack of micro available because it's too fast. And then if you get to a certain amount, it is literally just shots. Like there's no stopping. When you get to like 7 or something like that, you can literally just repeat them over and over again. So they are looking at it, to be clear. I mean, no one read the patch notes, but they are not changed yet.
Big shots on the Immortals, triggers their shields. Disruptor's still going strong. Zest trying to chase off over here to the right side. Hero's a bit supply blocked by this attack, actually, so it's kind of awkward. Having a hard time replacing these units, but there's a good shot. Taking out a good chunk of those stalkers.
Observer was sniped, so emergency DT might have to come in, but not necessary with how this is going.
Pulls it back, so sick, blinks forward. There's the Purifiers. herO 2-0. Game number 3, and it could be the deciding game. Spawning here to the top right. He's on his last life of the tournament. It's the pink Protoss, Zest.
In the top left is the blue Protoss. It is Root herO.
I feel bad to see Marcos complaining about subs and being unsubbed in chat. Poor guy's been through a lot, but tell you what, dude, let me make it up for you with a little bit of a kitty camera. Actually, something really big just happened in game. So, Zest actually killed the probe of herO. Now, this normally wouldn't be a big deal because you're like, well, who cares? But herO's probe didn't get to go across the map and scout, so he didn't get to see anything in Zest base. He has no idea what his front door looks like. He has no idea if a gold base is coming. And this is all because he lost a little bit of a probe scuffle here at the front.
That is pretty big. It's a good thing to note. So Zest's going to take that gold base before Cybernetics Core, it looks like. So definitely a greedier opener as far as PvP is concerned when 80% of the openers are, you know, 2 gates into Nexus. And might just be getting away with it. Now herO could just take a chance and be like, well, you're probably going to get a Nexus, so I'm going to try and get something to kill you or do damage. So Stargate would probably be the most useful option. And then take his gold later, and that could still work out okay, but the lack of information is troublesome.
Yeah, Marcos, dude, just a quick note here. A lot of people have been having troubles with subs. They've really been messing things up since the whole 3-year cancellation thing. I wish I had some better news or some inside information, but it just seems like your Twitter troubles are just going to still be troubles until Twitch handles it, man. I've seen a couple other people tweeting similar instances, so at least know you're not alone, but yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does.
If we got any zombie group subs in chat, can we get some ZGB Blazers on Marcos's behalf so you can say hi to this cute little cat who's been crashing us here on the stream?
He's a cutie. He's a cutie. When you're gonna fart soon. So, herO did not go for a Stargate, but something a lot more committed. He's gonna go for 4 gateways and a Robo for that Warp Prism, purely and entirely.
I would actually love this still ended up being like a big stalker attack, and he was going to use this as like the micro capabilities, the lack of blink made up through the Warp Prism, so to speak.
Yeah. Now there's something that Zest is going to need to scout as well. Like, I think that pro barely see a couple of gateways went down. But, you know, if he thinks that herO is just trying to match him on that gold base, just a little bit behind, you know, recover in other ways, well, that'd be a very bad call because herO is throwing everything he has against Zest here and now, and that Warp Prism means force fields are not safe.
Oh, he's gonna build shield batteries. Or no, he's just gonna expand? No, he's able to pylon or something. Okay, hang on. Because herO has done this. This is why I got super hyped. He's pulled probes specifically to do that before the Warp Prism, but well, it's not out of the question yet. I'm curious to see how he plans to use this. Maybe puts a pylon up here so he can Warp Prism down here. Apply that double layer of pressure.
I was excited as well, but it is not what's happening. Zest is preparing with shield batteries.
He's just going to unload up here first, then get it in after he secured the high ground.
Get it in, get it. Oh, Zest didn't see this.
Shield batteries.
Zest started to move away. That Immortal comes back. The first thing pops its shield, now much less effective.
Oh, I smell blood in the water. He's not taking time to build a shield battery. Breaks my heart, but he's getting a lot of damage done. This is a big threat here for Zest because he can't ignore this. He's got to fight near this because if he disengages and hopes that herO walks away, well, then herO's just going to knock down the Robo. He's going to kill probes. He's killing probes.
Well, the Immortal was never cut down despite losing its shield, and so another Immortal pops out. That is very helpful. A couple Zealots getting some swings. It's very close. Oh, the shield pops up just for a little while. Very, very important, and no shield battery has been made. Stalkers have to evacuate.
Yo, I think if herO had actually planted down 2 shield batteries through this, he'd already won the game. This is going to be a big problem, too. If units want to try and defend, not going to happen. You pick up the War Prism, you transfer away. Zest now has to defend the main and the natural simultaneously, and I don't know if he can do this. The threat of the Adepts walking by is enough. Not the actual transfer itself, but the threat of it is just kept all those units in the main. Probes are being pulled away now, but there's nowhere for them to run to.
Yeah, he tried to prepare for this by having a shield battery in both locations, but like, how do you actually respond to this quick enough? You just don't. You don't have a War Prism yourself, basically.
If herO had a sentry and he'd force fielded up here or something, that would have been disgusting and so good.
Oh, well, same for Zest too, right?
Oh, he's gonna walk away from it. Yeah, he can do the same thing now. He can actually just put down those force fields behind him.
Oh no, is he gonna?
Whether it's 2 over here, if he wants to get really frugal and just do 1, I think he's trying to go for the 1. He's gonna pull off the just 1. Oh my god, he's so good.
Like the Stalker shot with the graphic, the animation on the War Prism was so weird. This could be game. This could be the reverse 3-0, like one series to the next.
Oh, he depowered the gateways. He depowered both of the gateways. Zest has got 500 minerals that he can't spend right now.
And a shield battery
that's
that's useless.
Army back. Oh no. herO's done this in such a sick way. He's gonna recall. Even if that wasn't game, he was gonna recall. You sick bastard. GG.